minutes after the hour, America. America's most controversial tweetster, and that would not be hipster, but tweetster, is Ann Coulter, author most recently of Adios America. She joins me now. Welcome back, Ann. You did it again. You set Twitter on fire. You have to stop that. We don't have enough insurance.
I know, and it was after a long rest over Christmas and New Year's, but I came back with a bang.
Now, you don't really want to deport Nikki Haley.
No, that was a joke. Because
yes.
I was angry at her response to the. I mean, if we could, I'd be open to it. Don't get me wrong. But Hugh, this is really unbelievable. I mean, people always say, "Oh, there's no Washington establishment." I used to say that when they said it about Mitt Romney because he wasn't Washington establishment. He had the toughest position on immigration until Donald Trump rose like a phoenix. But look at this. The Democratic president gives a speech last night, and the Republican responds, and both speeches attack Donald Trump. And Nikki Haley going on and on about immigrants, and we need more immigrants, and anyone who's willing to work should be allowed to immigrate here. Are they not seeing what's happening with Donald Trump?
And I feel like I'm talking to the arsonist who burned down the building and then is upset with the ashes, because I don't think, here's what happened with me. I was in the virtual soundproof booth listening to Nikki Haley for ABC. George came to me right out of the speech, and I said, what a great speech. She brought up the noblest moment in recent American history when the victims forgave the killer, and she can be Cruz Haley, Trump Haley, Rubio Haley. She can run with anyone. I heard no anti-Trump stuff at all, and you went on Twitter.
It was.
Well, I know she did after the fact.
This morning saying it was directed at Trump.
After Matt Lauer asked her a direct question, but I think Ann Coulter started all this. I think this is on you, Ann.
No, that's crazy. I'm not the only one who reacted that way. When she's saying, specifically talking about Muslim immigration, and saying, well, we just need to vet them, but we can't look at religion. Well, how are you going to vet them?
I'm just talking about the speech last night. I'm just talking about.
We should deport her. I went through, under her vetting system. How do you keep out the San Bernardino killing?
I'm just talking about the speech last night. I think it was
last night. I'm talking about you.
She did not talk about the Muslim vetting and being in it.
Yes,
She talked about how we have to be open to people coming into the country.
No, she did. I don't know what were you at the State of the Union address? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was in the little box in a remote studio. I listened to every word of what she said.
Because I must tell you, my friend Mickey Kaus told me he was at the Gore-Bush debate where Gore did all the sighing, and he watched it from the press room, and he said you couldn't hear any of the sighing. Now, that's a more subtle thing. And he talked to his mother afterwards, big liberal, by the way, who said, oh, that Gore sighing was annoying. Everyone was ticked off at that. I think wherever you were watching it, you missed it, because she expressly said, we just need good vetting for Muslims. She expressly said,
okay, I missed
anyone who is willing to work hard should be allowed to come here. Anyone who's here coming here, that's 2 trillion people.
And she also said today she is against illegal immigration. She said that in the speech specifically. She is against illegal immigration.
Well, that has nothing to do with what I was talking about.
But so she's in favor
of. The San Bernardino shooter was illegal.
I agree. And the president wants to.
Was legal.
We're cross talking now, but let me go back to the key thing. I want to talk about
Boston
Ted Cruz.
Marathon legal.
I know, but I want to go back to the key thing, which is the Cruz eligibility. I had Senator Cruz on yesterday. What does Ann Coulter define a natural-born citizen as, and on what basis do you make the argument?
I'm so glad you asked. My column just went up at AnnCoulter.com. You have to read it. You'll feel like you're back in, Texas, Chicago, or Arizona when we briefly disputed this on stage. No, as you know, I've always thought he wasn't natural-born. I was briefly fooled by lawyers who assured me that they had looked at it, and I usually trust them. But
because you tweeted to the opposite effect at one point.
Correcting what I had said the night before, and then I looked up the law and found out, wow, I was right to begin with. Because, just as I found out when I wrote High Crimes and Misdemeanors, I'm sorry, constitutional law isn't a question of what I want. I'm not Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The term natural born has a long legal pedigree going back to 1608, reported by Koch in Calvin's case. And that's a long, complicated case, but it has been adopted by our Supreme Court, the common law, the Blackstone commentaries. And what is very clear that, Cruz was a citizen when he was born, but he was not a natural-born citizen because anyone born even to two American citizens abroad becomes a citizen by the process of naturalization, i.e. Congress has to write a law.
Now,
Congress has to write a law to make you a citizen. You're not natural-born under the Constitution.
So Ann Coulter
and I cite
thinks...
the case law, and I cite the common law,
I know,
and it's
but
all laid out in my column.
Now, I'm just saying, Ann Coulter thus disagrees with Mark Levin and John Eastman and Hugh Hewitt.
Okay, but as I say in my column,
that's not dispositive. I'm just telling the audience
my Twitter feed, I think it ought to have legal force, but my Twitter feed doesn't have legal force.
No, I'm just saying it is.
The Senate unanimously said John McCain is a natural-born citizen. That doesn't have legal force. Supreme Court cases have legal force.
There is no Supreme Court case on point.
Force.
There is no Supreme Court case on point, and so Lawrence Tribe throwing gasoline on the fire is correct, and I'll talk about it with Eastman. But do you realize that you have missed the best argument, Ann?
I disagree that there is no Supreme Court case on point.
I'm going to give you a new argument. I have a better argument for you. Wait, I have a better argument for you. Listen to this. In 1963, Jack Kennedy asked for, and the Congress gave him, a law making Winston Churchill an honorary American citizen, even though Winston Churchill had an American mother. Ergo, why was that necessary? I asked Ted Cruz that question yesterday. Had you thought of that, Ann?
I'll take any support I get from Hugh Hewitt, but I actually don't think that is a good argument. Congress can't, by law, change what the Constitution means, or, as I suggest in my column, how about Congress pass a resolution defining the New York Times as not speech?
Congress can, in fact, because they are giving constitutional...
No,
I agree.
There is a history. There's 400 years.
No, there's not. No, they are given absolute authority, plenary authority over the natural.
Just read my column.
No, well, we'll tell you, but naturalization law is vested in the Congress expressly in Article 1. They have defined American citizen. Ted Cruz rebutted this argument yesterday.
No, he is a citizen. He's not natural born. You cannot be natural born unless you are the child of an ambassador, or if we were in a monarchy, but we're not, a child of the king himself. Ambassadors, I would assume, this is a case that hasn't been ruled on, that the children of military, somebody serving in the military, natural born. But other than that, not born on U.S. soil, you're not natural born. And
I respect that you hold this position forcefully, but would you acknowledge that you are a minority of about 3?
I was a minority of less than that when I said Bill Clinton was guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors and wrote a book about it. The law is the law, and I don't care how many people agree with me.
I know, but I just wanted...
I think when you read my column, you'll see the law is the law, and it's very clear.
But just objectively...
There are cases that are unclear, but Ted Cruz's case isn't close to unclear.
But yes, it is. It isn't close to unclear. He's absolutely a citizen.
At all.
He's a natural-born citizen. It's absolutely not unclear. We agree on that. But objectively... it's Ann against the world. I know you like that, and it's good for marketing, but it's Ann against the world. Am I right?
That's not how we decide what a constitutional term means.
All right, Ann Coulter, it's always a pleasure. Talk to you soon. I'll be right back, America. Just talk to the arsonist in chief there, Ann Coulter. I'll be right back on the Hugh Hewitt Show. Hi, this is Hugh Hewitt. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel. Click right here to watch previous ones that you may not have seen, and click right here to subscribe to get all of them. And this is what you really need to do, is click right here to subscribe. Thanks for coming by. Don't miss a minute of any of the Hugh Hewitt YouTubes.